Before we get into the video, I want to talk to you guys about the OneFootball app, because for me, it's the best football app there is on the planet. It's great for player statistics, team news, transfer news, and league tables. On top of that, if you are an app user in the UK or in Ireland, you get match highlights for La Liga, Liga Portugal, and DFB Pokal. On top of that, you get full coverage of the Indian Super League and also Serie A, which means Indian Super League match coverage and highlights, and also Serie A highlights, and also once a week, you get a game which you can watch on the app literally for free from the Serie A. This week it is Atalanta versus Sassuolo, and if you watch my Scouting for United series, you'll know that there's a player I've got an eye on in that game. If you want to watch it, make sure to use the link in the description down below. Like I said, you get loads of great stuff and it is all free. Use the link in the description down below to download the OneFootball app. Hey guys, welcome back to the AJ Analysis channel, where we are back with the Champions League coverage, this time AC Milan versus Chelsea. A game that I was really looking forward to. Now, did it play out quite how I was hoping it would? Not quite, I have to be honest, but it was still a good game. Quite interesting, some certain tactical ploys. I'll be honest, there might be things I missed during this video, because this is the 5th time of recording it. I've recorded this video 4 times, and each time I get to the end, just as I'm about to press finish recording, it crashes. So I'm losing my mind a little bit, so there's a chance I miss things out. I'll try not to. I've got it all written down. But yeah, I'm fuming. There's a chance you don't even see this because it's got me rattled this morning because it just crashes every time. But anyway, let's get into the tactics because that's what you guys are here for, not my pity. AC Milan changed approach in this game from the game that we saw last week. So last week, AC Milan often built like this in a 4-2-3-1, and they had Tomori, Tomori and Kalulu, Tonali and Bennacer as a base of 4, a 2-2 shape trying to build possession, and they struggled to get Bennacer on the ball. So what they done in this game was they changed shape, moved Kalulu to right back, brought Gabbia into the side at centre back, and because Kalulu is normally a centre back, it allowed AC Milan to build in a back 3. So Kalulu would move across, Gabbia would move across, Tomori would, and Tonali would push high, Krunic would push high, and Theo Hernandez would come into midfield. And what this done was essentially gave AC Milan a 3-2-4-1 or a 3-2-5 attacking shape. And I thought they started the game quite well in possession. Bennacer was now able to get on the ball and they looked quite positive. Even off the ball they looked alright. So when Chelsea had the ball in these deep areas, Tonali and Krunic would both go man for man with Jorginho and Kovacic in the midfield, and then Bennacer in particular would sweep up in the midfield as the spare man. It worked quite nicely. However, there was one issue with AC Milan's approach, and it was Theo Hernandez playing such a narrow position. But more than that, it was just the structure in possession. And we're talking like the first 20 minutes here.
I am just going to quickly interrupt because we do have another sponsor for today's video, and that is jerseyfifa.com, the website you need to head to right away to get yourself the latest and greatest football shirts, all at an extremely affordable price. The link will be in the description below, so head there right away to get yourself a great shirt, again at a great price. Now back to the video.
So when they had the ball, they would often split the defence really wide. Kalulu would move all the way to right back, Tomori all the way to left back, Gabbia would move to right centre-back, and then Bennacer, the midfielder, would drop into defence. And I think the plan here was to try and get him on the ball more than what happened last week. They wanted to get him on the ball because he is their best ball player in the team. And it meant that Theo Hernandez was often playing as a holding midfielder, by himself. Now in position, that is all well and good. All these players are capable of playing these positions. But the issue was, when they lost the ball, everyone was now in a horrible area. So when Chelsea got the ball and looked to transition quickly, AC Milan were not set up for it. Bennacer would kind of try and squeeze back into midfield to apply pressure. Tomori would desperately try and get back into defence, as would Kalulu. But Theo Hernandez was now just miles out of position. And this isn't a criticism of him, it's a tactical issue. Because now if the ball went wide to Reece James, Tomori's trying to fill in at centre-back to cover Aubameyang running across here, and Mount running across here. Theo Hernandez now has so much ground to cover, and as a result it meant that he often got across to Reece James late, which is what happened and what led to the first goal. So Theo Hernandez is just there. We can just see him there. And Reece James is just behind me, but we can see Theo Hernandez has a really narrow starting position. And as a result, it means that James receives the pass easily. So James just there, he is unchallenged. There's no one on the ball because Theo Hernandez came from such a narrow position, he struggled to get out to him. Theo Hernandez should be more like just behind me, in a slightly wider area, ready to cover this channel in behind here. Also, Tomori's positioning, absolutely horrible. I don't quite know what happened here. I don't know if he just went to sleep, but he is a couple yards too high. He should be back here. Teo Hernandez should be here. It doesn't happen, and there was no pressure on Reece James on the ball. A recipe for disaster, right? Leaving this much room in behind your defence, but also this much time on the ball for a quality player like Reece James, who just sticks the ball in behind the defence. Mason Mount makes a good run, runs onto it, gets the shot off, stays on his feet to give credit to him, but Tomori was tugging him all the way. Penalty is given. Tomori is sent off, which it did ruin the game a little bit. There was potential for this to be a really fascinating tactical battle. It did ruin the game a little bit, but when you look at the letter of the law, it was a foul, and he was the last man. It was a goal-scoring opportunity, so it probably is a red card. It just felt a little bit harsh because of the nature of the foul. It weren't over the top, it weren't out of control, it weren't dangerous, anything like that. It was just a tug of the shirt, but he was last man. Jorginho scored the penalty, and Chelsea go 1-0 up. And as you can imagine, it created a big problem for AC Milan, because now they were down to 10 men. So the way that they reacted was, obviously Tomori sent off. Gabbia now went across to left centre-back. Kalulu came into right centre-back, so that's fine. They're both playing centre-back, their main position. And Krunic moved to right-back, with Tonali playing a little bit deeper in midfield in what was now a 4-2-3 shape. But the issue was, AC Milan had one less man, but for about 10 minutes they were still trying to play the same tactic. And that tactic was going man for man with the Chelsea midfielders high up the pitch. So when Chelsea had the ball with the centre-backs, Thiago Silva or Chalobah for example, AC Milan midfielders pushed nice and high on Jorginho and Kovacic, which was fine when they had the extra midfielder then covering behind them. But that was Bennacer before. Now Bennacer was the one pressing. And we can see the issue that this is going to create. Because all it takes is one pass from the centre-back out to the wing-back, and now Chelsea have 5 players looking to get at the 4 AC Milan defenders. One pass has got them into a 5 versus 4. And I have to say, Pioli has done a brilliant job at AC Milan. Sorry about that. Pioli's done a brilliant job at AC Milan, but in this game he did not react tactically to going down to 10 men. And I can't believe how lost they looked for the rest of the first half in particular. They looked so lost and out of control, and they didn't know what they were doing. The midfielders didn't know if they were meant to press, the fullback didn't know if they were meant to engage or cover, and it just created an absolute mess. Mason Mount and Reece James on this side, Sterling and Chilwell on this side, they absolutely tortured these AC Milan fullbacks, constantly getting at them 2v1. Now eventually AC Milan realised, hang on, we've got one less player on the pitch, so it's quite hard to press man for man when we have less men on the pitch. So eventually the midfielders set off a little bit deeper. But Brahim Diaz and Rafa Leao just did not work hard enough on the wings to help the team out. And with the midfielders now sitting off, they had another issue. Because now Jorginho and Kovacic had time on the ball, and they're very good footballers. And now it created an issue, because with Jorginho, Kovacic, Sterling and Mount playing quite narrow, they now had 4 central players to AC Milan's 2. So again, Chelsea have created the overload. And whilst this game did end up being quite easy for them, you have to give credit to Graham Potter, because a lot of people say it's difficult to play against 10 men. Not if you're Chelsea. Not if you just make the pitch as big as possible and create overloads. You have the extra player, stretch the pitch, take advantage of the space, overload certain areas. Chelsea done it brilliantly, and I honestly felt sorry for the fullbacks. They didn't get enough support from their wingers, but also they just didn't know what to do. So Teo Hernandez, for example, on this side has the ball, has a decision to make. Does he go nice and tight with Mason Mount, who started the game as a winger, but leave Reece James open? Or does he track the run of Reece James, but leave his team outnumbered in midfield? Krunic had the same issue on this side. Does he go tight to Sterling because he's the winger, but leave Chilwell free? Or does he follow Chilwell, track Chilwell, and leave his team outnumbered in midfield? It was just a nightmare. AC Milan were so horribly exposed. And this is what we saw for the second goal. We saw several of those patterns happening. So first of all, this. Look at the space in the AC Milan midfield. This is where their third midfielder would have been at the start of the game. But they didn't react, they didn't have the extra midfielder. Mount plays a little chipped pass into Kovacic, slightly overhit, and Aubameyang is just behind me, just above me, just up there. And then we've got Reece James down here. These are the 2 players that are important for this move. Because what it does is it gives Teo Hernandez that decision. Do I follow Aubameyang or do I track Reece James? Because Rafa Leao clearly isn't helping out. The ball gets chipped in, it goes short, it's not a great pass, but Aubameyang sprints to get the ball. Now typically, Teo Hernandez is quite an aggressive player on the ball. Typically, he would have absolutely flown towards that and gone in 50-50 with Aubameyang, but he was just so scared of Reece James down here having half a pitch to himself. So Theo Hernandez now couldn't press. It allows Aubameyang to go short, get the ball, take 1 touch, 2 touch, then turn, and then give it to Kovacic. So he's really taking his time on the ball here before he's pressed. Kovacic then plays a nice ball in for Mason Mount. And then it's another good pass for Mason Mount in behind the defence. Theo Hernandez just isn't switched on at all. Raheem Sterling lets it run across his body. Aubameyang doesn't. Aubameyang strides onto it, puts it into the back of the net. 2-0 Chelsea. And unfortunately, it was easy as that. Quite a short, boring video in a sense because it was so easy for Chelsea. The video is called How Did Chelsea Win? Very easily. Now eventually AC Milan did try and react. They brought Dest onto the pitch and took Diaz off, putting Krunic back into midfield, going for a 4-3-2. But I'll be honest, that was just the wrong shape to go for. That was not the shape to go for in this situation. Especially with Rafa Leão up top, not particularly keen on tracking back. Tonali, positionally, I have no idea what he was doing, and this is what I mean. AC Milan looked so unprepared for this situation. Surely teams practice playing with 10 men. I'm guessing that AC don't because it was a mess. Tonali was getting drawn out here, so Kovacic has an easy pass to Koulibaly, who then has an easy pass to Sterling, and now again we've got the same situation. Does Dest go tight? Does he drop off? Does Bennacer go tight? Does he drop off? What's Chilwell doing with the overlapping runs? Causing a lot of damage, that's what he's doing. Chilwell was brilliant with his movement off the ball. It was just a mess for AC Milan as soon as they went down to 10 men. And I was really looking forward to the game. I thought it could be a good tactical battle, a lot of quality on the pitch, players like Theo Hernandez returning for AC Milan, but it didn't turn out that way. The red card, maybe a little bit soft, but it's hard to argue it too much. And you have to give credit to Chelsea. As poor as AC Milan were, you have to give credit for Chelsea because, and Potter of course, because they took advantage of the space and they created overloads. The exact way to beat 10 men, and they were also vertical with their runs, vertical with their passes, and they absolutely destroyed AC Milan, and it was really easy. It's given me a really easy video to do because the problems for AC were so clear. And yeah, that's all I have to say on the game really. Chelsea absolutely destroyed them. It could have been more. They should have put this game out of sight. But they got the win and are now in a good position in the group. That's all I have to say. I hope you have enjoyed the video. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.